How's it going, everyone? This is David from the Geek Saga. Eugene's on his way in. He has not made it to the stream yet, so it's just me for the time being. Uh, hey, how's it going? I'm both moderating the chat and typing in the screen here. So it's been a busy week. Eugene's been here at work every day, and I've been back and forth doing other things. But as always, you guys can find us at YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok at The Geek Saga. Hit us up at the Gmail, thegeeksaga20@gmail.com. You could drop us links so that we can talk about other things or news that you find interesting that you'd like us to cover. If you want to join the chat, just hit us up, send us a quick message. We could probably get in and build a whole story around what you guys would like to talk about. What else do I got for you before we get into all this? As always, look for Ulanzi products and our links. They do all of our lights, our stands. Donner, they do our microphones. The podcast deck that we have. Also, we're all around pretty good dudes. We just recently started talking with Roosevelt's. We got some shirts from them. We've been promoting their stuff because those shirts are really nice. They're really comfortable. Also, Wild Bill's Soda. If you guys don't know what it is, go to a con, go to an event, look for them. Try their drinks. They're pretty good. If you like old-fashioned root beer, sarsaparilla, vanilla cream soda, orange cream, black cherry soda, that's everything they do. They also do sparkling water on tap. I didn't try that, but quality products. They're also vet owned, so it's part of the reason we like to plug their stuff here. So yeah, back to my banners here. Sorry. There we go. Those are all the links you can find us at. So I know last week Eugene was on. You guys talked to him a little bit, or you guys heard him talk about the con. We had a good time. Project Wish Upon a Star brought us out. They assisted us in getting us into the con. Also, the Distance Nerding guys, our friends Phil and James, hooked us up, got us a couple extra passes because it was 3 of us that went to the con. It was an all-around good time. We had a blast with everybody. It was cool. The different cosplays that were there were really cool. We also had a chance to speak with a couple of the booths that were there. We got to interview DJ Lance Rock from Yo Gabba Gabba. He did a quick interview, signed the cow for Project Wish Upon a Star. It was really cool. He is just as cool as you could remember him from the show. Loud, boisterous, down to earth. Took a lot of time to talk to us. He also took time to speak to a young gentleman that was watching him, sign the cow, talk to us, do his quick interview. Then he turned around, spent a couple minutes speaking with the young gentleman. I want to say he signed his Groby, but whatever. He had a good time. That kid, he made the kid's day. They made their way to the booth, spent a couple minutes talking with him. Then he spoke to Darren with Project Wish Upon a Star, and hopefully soon we'll be getting him on the podcast here so that we can interview with him. He was super cool. His assistant that was with him was really cool as well. That dude kept running back and forth, grabbing stuff that DJ Lance Rock missed. Logic was like 25 feet away from us. My son was geeking out the whole time, waiting for him to like see him, and he was trying to just say hi. Didn't have anything to sign. He just wanted to say what's up. Logic ended up coming over to the booth. He also signed the Project Wish Upon a Star cow, and that has like pop culture signatures all over it. I think we have posts of it everywhere on the Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that. Who else did we speak with? Unfortunately, the hero that was supposed to wear the costume for Lazo spent like a couple weeks making did not get a chance to show up, and they didn't get to wear the costume at the con. But we did give it to Project Wish Upon a Star in order for them to pass it off and give it to the young hero so that they can enjoy it on their own time, or maybe at a different con, or whatever that ends up being like. But I'm kind of stalling for time. Lazo's is a couple minutes from his house. Eugene is he was on his way home just a couple minutes ago. I'm gonna give him another 3 to 5 minutes. If he doesn't get on, then I'm just gonna kick into our first segment here. Let me check this chat real quick. Hello to my wife. She's in the chat. Hello to Darren and Jessica. You guys are in the chat. Darren loves seeing all the pictures and was so mad we didn't get to go because I was sick. Yeah, it was fun. Very expensive parking wise. It was like $30 to park inside the structure. $20 up the street, like $40 in a couple areas, and they weren't even a part of the venue. But it was very close. Like the walks weren't too bad in order to get up to the actual arena itself. Hey Mandy, I see you in the chat. How you doing? But it was a great time. We also met a couple artists that came through. They signed my kids' books. Then my son actually got to talk to the guy who does Invincible, Ryan Otley. Showed him a couple of his artworks. They spoke for a couple minutes. Then another artist that does like chibi manga Marvel characters came through, and he spoke with my son for a little bit, gave him a fist bump, took a picture with him. We met Savage Crucible. I know Eugene talked about it all last week, but they have these crazy toys they created for just collecting and posability. They're going to do a D&D cover. You can use them for like D&D characters. You can use them for your own storylines that you've got going on, but they sell blank figures, and then they sell the high end, all the attachments and everything that goes with them. They're super posable. You can make the character itself like lick the blade of a knife if he's holding one. They can rest it on their shoulder. The just little things that you can't do with certain figures that these characters can do. Super posable. I thought I had a picture downloaded, but I wasn't able to upload it for you guys to see that. But there are some coverage of those toys on the Savage Crucible post we posted on the Instagram. Also, we met with... Lazo's got an industry badge. So Eugene was able to go back, and he kind of like schmoozed with a couple of the handlers and the celebrities in the background. He didn't get too much to do. He really wanted to try to get the hobbits because both of us would have loved to talk to either one of the four. But Samwise was there, Sean Astin, Merry and Pippin were there, Elijah Wood was there, who's Frodo. But we could not get them to come to the booth or lure them in. He did get a chance to speak with the original Pink Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. and Amy Jo Johnson. She did not make it to the booth while I was there, but she did promise to swing by and speak with the Project Wish Upon a Star people. So that was pretty cool. I don't know if she ever made it out there, but if she did and she signed the cow, awesome. If not, whatever. I guess we'll try again next time. So I'm just going to roll right into this next thing we've got going on. Give me a second. Transition. So our first thing we have going on this week in geek history, the Three Amigos premiered in 1986. It was Martin Short, Chevy Chase, and oh my God, I just blanked. Come on, comments, help me out here. Well. Looks like Eugene is joining the chat. Just in time, because I forgot who the other person was in the Three Amigos.
Chevy Chase, Martin Short, and Steve Martin. You there? Can you hear me?
Did I have sound? I can't hear you. You hear me?
Test 1, 2. Test.
There you are.
All right. Had to switch things around. All right. So Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and Martin Short. Those are the three
Steve Martin.
amigos. Yeah. How could you forget that?
Because I was worried about everyone else, man.
What were you worried about?
Not confusing the two Martins. And then I forgot one.
Well, this movie is one of my absolute favorite movies. That's kind of why I kind of picked this one. And hold on, let's see. Oh, of course, it doesn't didn't fix anything on my phone as far as our.
You're fired,
dude.
But this, give us a quick premise of the movie. Break it down real quick. Tell us what it was.
So it's the premise of the movie is basically three silent era movie stars get mixed up to be like real life heroes when they're actually just a couple of morons. And
they got retarded.
Yeah, they were, but it was hilarious because they were called down to Mexico to fight off the, as they put it in the movie, infamous, because they couldn't pay for, the little town couldn't pay for a whole Longo telegraph, but the infamous Al Guapo. And it's a pretty funny movie.
Nice.
I really like this movie. So this, and I think I just watched this like 3 weeks ago. I had to rewatch it because I love this movie so much. I'll watch it. So yeah, that's the Three Amigos. It premiered in 1986. And also, really quick. So starring Martin Short, of course, in his first leading role. The film was shot in 4 months in Arizona, creating a comedic classic. So there you go. There's a little, what do you call it?
Little blurb about the movie. Yeah, it was good, man.
Yeah.
Who doesn't remember the stupid shoulder tap and hip thrust? You know what I mean?
Well, not only that, but they also did that whole thing where it was my little buttercup.
Yep.
Was sweet as
we don't need it. We don't need you to do it. Making us look bad.
I got so much room to move around.
I built up 5 followers. I had 5 people viewing. Don't make them go away.
Oh, all right. Move on.
Working hard here. Clue.
So, do you remember this movie?
I never watched it.
Really?
Never.
So obviously this is based off of the Parker Brothers game Clue, which was a murder mystery game. But the great thing about this movie, and it premiered in 1985, was that there was, I believe it was 4 different endings. So what made this flop, besides it feeling like it took forever to get through the movie, was that you can go to a different theater and get a different ending, and it was confusing to everybody that actually went out to go see it, because it's just like the game where if you guys have played it, you guess the killer, the weapon in the room, and you pull out the cards, and it's like, oh, it's the right one, or if it's not. So this movie was great. It had, as you can see, Tim Curry, which was prior to him playing It in the Stephen King miniseries, which came out on ABC, had Christopher Lloyd, which was fresh off of Back to the Future. And it also had
Madeline Kahn.
Yeah, it had Madeline Kahn, but what was the dude's name? Played Squiggy from Happy Days.
I have no clue, man. That's your time frame, not mine.
Yeah, well, he was also in This Is Spinal Tap. He was in a bunch of movies, and all those movies that had I'm drawing a blank on all these guys' names, but when you watch it now, they actually added in all the different endings to the end of the movie. So whether you watch it online, which most people now do, is they stream it, or you see it on DVD, they have all the endings all back to back. So it's kind of like, guess which one was the real ending. But premiered in 1985. It was a great movie. John Landis collaborated on the script, of all people. So there's a little tidbit too, that he was part of this. Michael McDowell even wrote a novelization of the movie. So there we go. There's some tidbits about that movie. But if you guys have never seen it, check it out. It's you guys will be like, oh my God, really? It's kind of stupid, but it's funny. So yeah.
I'm gonna leave you with this clue. I'm not gonna watch
it. That's not a clue. That's a statement. Mars Attacks. Mars Attacks premiered in 1996. What?
Another one.
Huh? You've never seen this?
Nah, man. I couldn't sit through it. I think I started it and then I just said, you know what? I'm over this. I can't finish it.
It's meant to be that tongue-in-cheek 1950 style, like Martian movie that, back in the day where they had these stupid looking monsters and like just such a bad premise, but it was such a great movie. This premiered the year that I graduated.
Old. Hey, I love Jack Nicholson and I love Danny DeVito, but yeah, I could not. I didn't even make it to the good parts with them in it. Like, I just gave up.
Oh my dude! But this movie had so many great actors. I mean, you named a couple, but it also had Matthew Broderick, Sarah Jessica Parker. It had Pierce Brosnan. It had, oh God, what's her name? Greer. Pamela Greer. It had, I mean, the list goes on of all the people that made cameos in this movie. Jack Black looked freaking thin in this movie too, which you probably didn't get to that part, did you?
No, I didn't. I want to say 10 minutes might have been more than I gave the movie.
It has freaking Padme in the movie, Natalie Portman.
Yeah, but just after this, freaking Phantom Menace came out, so I didn't even try. Never went back to watch.
Oh God! Well, if you guys didn't know, this was actually based off a trading card series that Topps put out way back when, and they got the rights, and then they're like, oh, let's make a movie out of this whole thing. So they wrote a movie about it. And what is Jessica, or is it going to be Darren? Who's saying this? Oh my God, I love that movie. I first saw it when I was 9 back in 2000. Thank you. You just made me.
Don't mind him, guys. He has a hard time saying a bunch of things in a row. So
I can't do scripts, but I'll go off the top of my head without a problem. But holy crap, now she makes me feel old. Oh, Darren, you just made me feel old. He was
9 years
9 years
old
old.
in 2000.
Yeah. Wow. That sucks.
And moving on.
Yes, let's move on to the next. Come on. Who hasn't seen this movie?
I don't know, man. You
Don't
had me at hello.
Everybody and their mother was screaming, "Show me the money!"
This was pre Scientology, pre crazy Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah,
Like,
but this was the movie that won Cuba Gooding Jr. the Oscar for
was
Best
it this
Supporting
one?
Actor. Yep, this was it.
Hmm.
And I mean, I threw it up there just because there are iconic things in it. Like You Had Me at Hello, Show Me the Money. Cuba Gooding Jr. wins the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in this movie. There was a lot of things with this movie. You guys don't know this movie. You guys should they go see it?
You could zoom it on Tubi if it comes out for free. Don't watch it on anything else.
It is out there for free, and I think it is on Tubi. But it's about he's a sports
Agent.
agent, and he's rubbing elbows with all the big wigs and everything like that. And then Cuba Gooding Jr. is his like lowest one. He ends up losing his top dog and is just with Cuba, so he just leaves the firm that he's at and then takes Renee Zellweger, and it just ensues into all kinds of.
Yeah, he ends up getting in a relationship with Renee Zellweger. Who's the kid that's in here? It's not Haley Joel Osment, isn't it?
No, it's not. You know what? I forget the name of the kid, but he is the one kid that tells us a very important fact, which is, did you know that the human head weighs 8 pounds?
He's also the kid from Liar Liar, right?
I don't know.
There was like 2 kids that were in everything back in the day, and if it wasn't Haley Joel Osment, it was the other kid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and also little baby Anakin was out there too, even though he says that Star Wars ruined his life, but he was in Jingle All the Way. That should have ruined his life.
Probably.
But that is pretty much it for that week, or this week in geek history. These some cinematic gems have left should I say indelible. I was going to say endowed, but indelible.
How does this guy write a script that he can't read?
Well, I'm also looking down. I'm not fully set up. I literally ran into the house, had to move a car, push everything out, get this, all this really quick, set up. And then like I said, I'm still in basically uniform, just with my sweatshirt on. So, but these movies left a mark in geek culture. So now, guys, if you guys are watching and you want to comment, because I'm going to put these up on our Instagram, which one of these is your all-time favorite from this list? You got Mars Attacks, Jerry Maguire, Three Amigos, and Clue. So you guys, we'll put that up on our Instagram. You guys tell us what you guys think is your favorite. So there you go.
So I got notes from the producer, and the kid was Jonathan Lipnicki.
But what else was he in? Because he was one of those kids. He was one of the kids that was out there quite a bit.
Let's see.
And actually, so Jerry Maguire was nominated. What?
He was He was in Stuart Little.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I remember that movie. Nothing else of notoriety.
Keep going. Stuart Little 2, yeah. Keep the hits coming.
I think he just grew up and became kind of a Haley Joe, and
so he was as a voice in Dr. Dolittle, the Eddie Murphy one. He was in Dawson's Creek. Oh, he was in The Little Vampire.
Oh, that's right. I remember that movie. But and Jerry Maguire was nominated for 5 Academy Awards, and it was actually directed by Cameron Crowe. So there we go. Anyways, moving on from this, that is yeah, you know, I could see how that was loud.
Told you, man, that one is loud.
Ooh, I got to change that one. Hey, dude,
So
did you
before
go through our?
you jumped in, I gave up all the instas, the socials, all the things we normally give up, and then I
What about
also talked about
our new sponsors?
Donner,
Or not?
Ulanzi, Wild
Okay.
Bills, Roosevelt's.
We just
I
didn't
did a
have-
quick recap of my experience at the con. Quit looking at yourself.
Oh.
Yeah, and then right before you jumped on, I was like, I'm tired of waiting, so I went right into geek news.
Hey, that's fine, man. Because it was I literally was flying down to get here. I mean, I got here in probably record time, and that's with me stopping to get gas and get some food to still make it here by 8:15. That's I was flying. So
I guess we'll
But-
just roll right into
the geek news. Oh, you didn't even bring it up. Oh, there it is.
I forgot. Whatever.
Oh my god. So we're gonna start off with Mark Wahlberg says, which I did this because, and if you guys don't know it, our good old little David right there is a huge fan of Mark Wahlberg.
Could be
And,
worse. I could be on Tubi watching movies that don't exist.
Hey,
From the alternate timeline.
all those movies from Tubi are amazing. All right, not gonna. But Mark Wahlberg says that Uncharted 2 script is written and praises his Sully mustache. So I don't know if you guys out there have watched or have seen the first Uncharted movie. I was really excited to hear that they were going to be bringing out an Uncharted movie because Uncharted is my actual favorite video game series, pretty much of all time. I mean, that's the series I've played from 1 all the way to the very last one. And I love the movie. You've never played Uncharted?
No, I've never played it, man. I never got around to it. By the time Uncharted came out, I had already given up on the PlayStation. I was an Xbox only person. Literally Xbox only. Like I didn't play anything but Xbox 360 through, I guess, most recently the Xbox One.
The Uncharted series is actually a really fun game because it combines that whole adventure with puzzle solving in the game itself. And
it was Tomb Raider for boys who didn't want to play as a girl. I'm sorry.
I think it was better than Tomb Raider. I really do.
That's because you're misogynist and you don't think females should be in the lead.
That's a lie because I actually played Tomb Raider.
You're old. You're set in your ways.
I played Tomb Raider 1 when it came out on the Xbox. I actually bought it and I actually enjoyed the game. It was a really cool game. I did part 2 because I still had an Xbox. And then after that, I was away from it and onto just the PlayStation, and Uncharted became my favorite game. And the only thing I have to say is that the movie, I've now watched it probably about, I'm going to say it's a guilty pleasure because it's not the greatest movie because it has freaking Spider-Man right there in the movie. And it's like, it's hard to think of him as Nathan. And I don't want to hear our producer get mad at me, but nothing against Mark Wahlberg, but I couldn't see him in the role of Sully. But again, we had talked about this earlier, which is this is a prequel to all the Uncharted stories. So we see Nathan as being young, and all I ever see in that role is Nathan Fillion because he looks like Nathan from.
It's because you're old.
No, If you actually, there's a
Nathan
fan
Fillion is too old to
film.
play Nate Drake.
No, there is a fan film that was made out there that has Nathan Fillion playing Nathan Drake, and it was like he fills in that role so good. And then they had what's that old dude from Avatar?
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. I don't know who you're talking about.
he was Sully, and like
Which
that
Avatar?
combination, the first one, the first Avatar, not the Airbender, but the
The
blue,
blue people. So you're
the
talking
blue
about
people.
the the Colonel?
Yes, the Colonel. So he,
Damn, I forgot
when
his
he had
name.
that mustache, he fit the role of Sully perfect. So if you guys want to go see it, watch it. You can watch it. It's on Netflix. Like I said, if you're a fan of the Uncharted series, it's a little rough to think about, but it's fun to watch. It's still a fun movie. Spider-Man doesn't kill it for me because I've now grown to kind of like the movie. But Sony, what do we got? Sony Pictures decade-long endeavor to bring an Uncharted movie to fruition. Acknowledgement that despite the film's box office success, which it was a moderate success, it
I mean, it
faced
only did 440 million or 400 million, and it has a 40% score on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is that it has a 40% score on Rotten Tomatoes. But the thing is that people went out to go see it. It was I think it was $100,000, like around there budget. So they made their movie. I mean, they made their money back and then some. So, I mean, to hit 400 million, it's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, especially since you released the game to a closed market. It was a PlayStation exclusive. So you have that pool of people who are very excited for this movie. And then maybe they're friends because they heard about the movie. So I mean, for what it was, it didn't do bad. It did better
No.
than the Tomb Raider movies that came out.
Well,
I
no,
think it did not the Jolie
the,
movies, the most recent ones.
and that's, you know, that's what sucks, is that the newest one that came out, like, not how many more came out? I think it was just one more, right? Jolie did
You're the only one
two.
who came out.
Not true. You did too. But
Oh, you're still got it.
Angelina Jolie did 2 Tomb Raiders.
Yes.
And then Girl did 1. So there was 3 that were made. That other one that was made was actually better than the Angelina Jolie movies. So
Miles Quaritch is the old man from.
Yeah.
He was also what was his name in Ike Clanton in Tombstone,
Oh, that's right.
and he looked old as shit in that movie. So how the hell did
He did. He actually looked really old in that movie, but he was a lot younger, like way younger.
Yeah. But that was such a good movie, dude. He played so well in that movie. I did not picture him as the same dude.
No, I didn't even until you said it right now. I was like, holy crap, yeah. So, but the whole thing is that Mark Wahlberg's really excited because they said that there's a script that has been written. It's ready to go. And he's talking about how great that mustache is looking on him. So he's really excited to get back into the role of Sully, which we both talked about how, Mark, you're looking a little old, bud.
That's good though, because Sully's an older character. It's what we need.
Yeah. But the thing is, how are they going to fast forward with freaking Nathan, who's like 20? How old is
I think
Tom
he's
Holland?
30, dude.
Is he 30?
Yeah. I think he was like 19 when he started the
Spider-Man movies.
The Spider-Man movies. And I remember he was quoted saying something like, if I'm 30 years old and I'm still playing Spider-Man, something's gone wrong.
Yeah, I saw an article today about him trying to break away from the Spider-Man role, even though he's going to be coming back for another Spider-Man. But he's trying really hard to break into other things aside from the action type roles also that he can try to play. Which again, he wasn't bad. He had the snarkiness. He just didn't have the like, I don't know. He needed a little bit more of a presence. He was too goofy in the Uncharted role.
So he's 27 now.
Okay, so he's 27. So the next movie he'll hit 30 by the time
The
they
next
probably
movie
do
comes
this. Yeah.
Well, I
so-
mean, that'll be fine because I think they're trying to introduce other Spider-Men into the world too. So it might be more
Yeah.
of a spot thing. He comes back, does a movie, disappears. So
he'll do a Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield type thing. So
not even.
eh. All right, guys, moving on to the next one, which James Gunn welcomes Nick Holt to Superman Legacy and says, "You will never forget his Lex Luthor."
I think he said the same thing about half the characters in Suicide Squad, and I forgot half of those characters.
You're talking about the last Suicide Squad where we had freaking
Suicide
detachable
Squad,
arm? Yes.
not the Suicide Squad.
See, so the Suicide Squad was the first one that came out, and then the next one that came out was
No.
the newer one.
I
or
take
is it
that
the other
back.
way around?
Suicide Squad was the Will Smith one. The Suicide
Okay.
Squad was the newest one
Okay,
with Nathan.
Which- Nathan Fillion in it.
Yes,
Which actually I kind of enjoyed that movie.
it wasn't
a lot-
bad. It's just
No.
nothing about it was super memorable. Like they killed
No.
off the entire OG characters minus Harley Quinn.
Yeah. Well, no, minus Harley Quinn. Oh, then Dot Man was killed off towards the end.
Yep.
So,
Yep. He exploded everywhere.
what do you think of this? I mean, we've kind of been following the Superman Legacy story for a couple of episodes now. Every time something comes in, I pop it up there because, and even on our Instagram, we've been kind of popping it in there because I want to see what James Gunn is going to do and how good is going to be Corn Sweat as Superman. I just like saying the name.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold on the choice of Superman yet. I'm also not too sure about Nicholas Holt. He's a great actor. He's done great stuff. Like seeing him in X-Men First Class was really good. His portrayal of Beast was good. Seeing him in the movie freaking Mad Max Fury Road as the creepy kid was really good. Just because they were so stark in contrast, you know what I mean? Like seeing him as Beast and then seeing him as the crazy dude from Fury Road, it was cool. Like to see the dichotomy of the two characters. But watching anything else he's done before that,
Well,
just
no,
him in a shitload of makeup, playing weird people.
I liked him in Warm Bodies. I actually liked Warm Bodies, the movie itself. That was actually a pretty good movie.
That's one where he's a zombie.
Yeah, and so you have to. He does a lot just with that face.
You subscribe to the Hallmark Channel, don't you?
No, it was a good movie. Dang, anybody out there
Yeah.
that's seen it will agree with me. It was a good movie, but I don't know. I mean, we're supposed to be taking it's Superman Legacy, and we're getting dropped into the world of Superman already. There's no real backstory that's going to be made in this one, but it's a younger Superman, so we're going to get a younger Lex Luthor. But I still can't see Nicholas as because
I think
Lex Luthor.
if he gets a little bit of muscle on him, and
Mhm.
he can have that like commanding presence that Lex always has had, because he's not a lengthy like the OG Superman when they had what's his face play him.
Oh my God, Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman. He was good, but
Mhm.
I didn't get Lex from him.
No,
Especially not when he had the curly hair. Like I didn't get Lex from him. I got Curly I got Larry from the Three Stooges. And then when we had what was his name?
from Smallville.
Superman Returns.
Oh, Superman Returns was Kevin Spacey,
Spacey. He was good, and he acts
he
well, but he
but he's
also
not.
didn't give me that. Yeah, he didn't have that presence,
Yeah.
and that's the one thing that Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville had. He had the
Yes,
presence.
he
You know what I
did.
mean?
That
So,
I would say if anybody's out there that knows Michael Rosenbaum, Mr. Rosenbaum, you were the best, I think by far the best Lex Luthor that there's been so far.
yep.
I think
Even in
because
the Supergirl series, they brought what's his face from the show with Charlie Sheen.
the guy that played his brother, the
Yeah,
two
yeah.
minutes. Okay. I can't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about. He played oh my god, what other movies was he in?
Either way, he was
Oh,
he was Lex
freaking Ducky.
Ducky.
Yeah, he played Ducky from 16 Candles. Or Pretty in Pink. Pretty in
Oh,
Pink.
bro, you say Ducky, and I think of freaking Land Before Time. Don't step on the crack, you break your mother's back.
Man, hey, let's not bring up that movie. I saw a meme the other day of one of the saddest scenes that destroyed my whole childhood, which was when Littlefoot's mom was dying. And that
That was
just
rough.
like
That was rough. But you think about it, some of the best kids movies always start with a huge death.
yeah,
Bambi,
still.
Land Before Time, Deadpool 2, always someone dying right at the beginning. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I've been surprised. I wasn't super excited when Cavill got the part for Superman because he wasn't a big dude at the time.
No, but he's huge.
And he was a Brit, and I was like, you can't have a Brit play freaking Superman. But then he killed it. So, I mean, I've been surprised before.
Yeah, and so he is joined, like I mentioned, that David Cornsweet is going to be playing Superman. Rachel Bor. Oh man, Borish. I can't. I never could. Freaking, what's her face from? Borshana. Borshana.
Dude, you're killing me.
I know. Oh well, she's playing Lois Lane. They've also got quite a few other. They've got a Victorian Secret model that's confirmed to play Eve.
Brosnahan.
Yes.
Rachel Brosnahan.
Yeah, Brosnahan. There we go. I'm not good at last names.
David Cornsweet. Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner.
Which that's when I heard about that was freaking hilarious.
I don't see him as a Guy Gardner. I wish they would have made him Hal, but
yeah, he would fit that role. But it's just funny that he's playing a cop right now as the rookie, and he's going to be playing Guy Gardner, who, if you guys know the story, he's a cop. He's an absolute douche. So
he's the rookie that's your age. Yep.
Hell yeah, he gives me hope, even though I don't want to be a cop anymore.
Either way.
But yeah, we'll see what happens with this movie and what James Gunn is going to do, because we haven't seen anything that James Gunn has done for the new DCEU.
Yeah. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah. So anyways, moving on.
This one right here.
You go.
E3 officially dead after 28 years of good times. I mean, I guess we've all seen the writing on the wall for the last couple years. Nintendo pulled out, 2 years ago? PlayStation pulled out. Xbox pulled out. And who do you got left at E3? You know what I mean? Besides indie gamers and Steam.
Blizzard. Well, even Blizzard pulled, Blizzard was a huge part of E3 also.
Well, Blizzard's always made an appearance, even though they still do BlizzCon. But once everyone else pulled, they were just like, we're not showing up. So, I don't know. This one's, like I said, 28 years. I never got to go to E3, but it was the place to go to try all the new games, get all the new trailers, get all the new leaks, all the drops. How many like stealth drops happened over the years that only came because E3 was a thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you think about how long it's been going on. It's been going on for 28 years. That is a long time for an event to just say, well, we're calling it quits. But now we know, but we know that, like you said, Nintendo pulled out and is doing their own con. Xbox pulled out and they're doing their own con. Um,
Yep. Well, they don't
BlizzCon
do a
has been
con, but they no longer get together and put out all their info once. Nintendo does their directs quarterly, and
oh,
like
that's
when a
right.
new thing's dropping. Xbox does like what's the dude's name that runs Xbox? He has like this
Uh,
big showcase that he does on his own.
oh yeah, I've seen that. I know
Yeah,
who you're
and
talking about. I just, but
PlayStation does their own thing.
here's the other thing. So 2020 really did a number on all these events. So it's not a surprise to see some of these actually starting to like wane off because 2020 did such damage to these events that they're just like, we don't know how we're going to recover. And E3 was one of those that, on top of their bigger sponsors pulling out, it was COVID-19 that just did them in. So now they're saying, you know what? We can't keep going because what are we going to do? We've got no big names anymore. You know, like you said, the independent companies. That's it.
But I mean,
Oh,
there's a lot of companies that could still show up, but within the last 3 years, all those individual things that were separate are now under one umbrella. So PlayStation did a huge buy up of companies. Xbox did a huge buy up of companies. So it's not like Bethesda has a booth that they can open anymore because they're under the Xbox umbrella. It's not like I mean Square could still do whatever they want, but they mostly work with PlayStation, so why go anywhere but the PlayStation showcase?
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the other thing,
It's rough.
well, the other thing is like when we were just at Comic Con, we went over to the West Side, the West Hall, and what do we see there?
It was like a small. It was more like a venue, indoor swap meet than it was anything else.
Yeah, but there was like all those independent little video game companies
Yeah,
that were trying to get their stuff out. So they have they're able to go to these cons and set up their areas and showcase their stuff there, which is probably cheaper to go to than to the E3s, like the E3 event that was out there.
maybe.
So
Yeah.
I mean, so like independent companies still have places to go. And the funny thing is that there are more and more um, Comic Cons that are starting to pop up. So we're seeing the death of one ginormous thing like this, E3, but we're seeing the resurrection of, there's Pasadena now that's coming back with their Pasadena Con. Long Beach Comic Con is starting to grow and get bigger. We've got stuff that goes on in Fresno, up in your area, over at the Fairplex. They did that whole thing during the fair, which
Yep.
was like a mini con for the whole time that the fair was open, which we never got a chance to go to. Kind of disappointed about that.
Yeah, that usually happens right around the same week of my birthday. They usually like first 2 weeks of October is usually when the fair in Fresno picks up.
So, I mean, there's a lot of places for these game companies to go to, and then on top of that, how many big names pulled out of, San Diego? Ton of them. But
Yeah, but WB didn't show up one year.
well, this last year, Disney, WB, HBO, Netflix, I think those are the big ones, and like the studios did not show up to San Diego. But because it's already such a huge event as it is, and there's plenty of other things for to showcase at that event, it still can go on. It doesn't need big
The
companies.
panels still happen. They still do like the movie stuff. The actors still show up. It's just the actual studios that aren't making the trips anymore.
Yeah. So it's a shame to see this go. It's a shame that after 28 years that they're finally done. But I think for this one, it was kind of inevitable that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like I said, we saw the writing on the wall. Every year someone was pulling out. Every year it was getting worse and worse. Every year it was smaller and smaller. And then this year they were supposed to partner with someone in order to make it happen again. And then they were just like, yeah, it's not going to happen. We're not doing it.
yeah, they didn't get the revenue that they needed. So they just said we can't do it. So farewell to E3. Sorry you guys are going after 2 decades long, but from every time I looked at pictures and videos, it looked like it was freaking amazing.
Yeah. A lot of the guys I watch to get like video game news on YouTube, they used to be like, oh my God, I can't wait for E3. I can't wait for E3. And now they're just like, holy crap, E3 is gone. So, but moving on to something you're actually interested in.
Yes. So this is, for those of you guys out there, this is one of my favorite shows. 5th and final season of Stranger Things, set to begin shooting in the beginning of January. So because, and this goes for a lot of shows, and we talked about last week, which was all the Star Wars shows, but because of the SAG-AFTRA strike, it put a lot of things on hold. And this thing was definitely one of those that got put on hold. And they're now finally saying, you know what? All the strikes are over. We're going to move forward and we're going to shoot this thing. So that's the great thing about, we are getting our 5th and final season. Is it the final or like the final time we're going to hear Stranger Things? No, there's a lot of things in works that they're talking about of spinoffs for this show. And people are like, well, how are you going to do it without 11? They introduced the Upside Down. They've given us stuff like, showing that there were other kids like her that were being experimented on. So is it the last of Stranger Things we're going to see? No, there's comic books out there also. And they're slowly trying to wane off of 11. And so we'll see what happens.
Not only that, she's the 11th kid. That's why her name's 11. There's 2 through 10 of the other kids that are missing. And we already know number 1 is a problem. So they've created a universe. You know what I mean? It's like Star Wars. You gave us the 6 movies. What are you going to do now? Well, we created a universe. So,
which there was hints that they may be taking it to other parts of the world, especially after what happened in season 4. If you guys aren't caught up on it, I'm going to probably spoil it. Oh, well, you guys should be already caught up, but Vecna pretty much cracked open the doorways that he wanted to open up, which put that big giant crack through Hawkins, which now is going to be spewing out all the Upside Down into the real world. And so what the Duffer brothers had hinted at in other interviews that I've read, that there were other cracks that opened up around the world, and also others like 11 were spread out. So because, yes, she's number 11, and she wasn't the last one, but it looked like they killed off all the kids. It was Vecna that killed them off, at least.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. I mean, I really do love this show. I've gone back and rewatched it from the beginning. I know you've never watched it.
I mean, right? I started it. I just haven't made it through the first episode. One day I'll finish the show. But the cool thing about the show is knowing that they sat down, created a premise, and then stuck to the overall storytelling of that same story, knowing from beginning to end that what was going to happen. All they did was now they have to add time because the kids are a little bit older. I think that's what I was reading in the article that we were looking at.
Yeah. So we're not going to get them as kids. We're now going to get them as adults.
Young adults.
Young adults, but they've been fighting to survive in this new world that they're trying to close. So
now we can't watch it because you spoiled it.
I mean, if you've watched it all the way up until this point, you would kind of get the
Some
idea.
people
Okay,
don't want to watch shows until they're complete so they can binge the whole thing.
well, this was a show that I like to watch, and I've watched every episode. I've gone to one of
Spoiler
those.
alert: Daenerys dies at the end of Game of Thrones. Since we're just doing this now,
She was stabbed by Jon Snow. So, yeah, and that was her nephew. They had a sick incestual. Yeah.
incestual.
Incestual relationship. It was gross. Well, your kids should be watching it because it's about kids.
My 16-year-old did watch it.
Oh, then there we go. He's a good kid. But this is definitely gonna. I've gone to one of those experience things that they have in LA. That was for season. I think it was season 3. It was actually really cool. You're in your car, you drive through this whole structure that was made up to look like all the different someone's scenes, and then at the very end you're on top of the roof and it shows the final scene, which is Billy and Eleven going at it. It was really cool. It was a lot of fun. Took my daughter for her birthday.
The worst experience I've ever done that was based off of a show was the Hall of Faces in San Diego Comic-Con. They redid the Wall of Faces from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And it was like a 2.5 hour freaking wait to get inside. And me and Regina were very excited about it. And then we get there and it was literally a wall with projected faces on it.
Wow.
And then, I mean, they had the Iron Throne there. They had a couple set pieces that you could look at. But the main thing was like, I'd say a 10-foot wall might have been too much. And it was very, very poorly done. As you could tell, we don't talk about that.
Well, that's just like that one when we were at con, when we were walking by and it looked like they were stewardesses and they were like ushering people into that experience. And I kind of poked my head around and I was like, all it is just a bunch of stand-ups.
Yeah. The jet thing, like you're supposed to make a flight. Yeah, it looked retarded.
That was dumb.
But the coolest experience that I've ever been in, and it's unfair to say it because there's a lot of money that went into it, the Hogwarts ride at Universal.
Oh, yes.
Where the freaking huge spider comes at you. Like, dude, that is an experience. That is a freaking cool ride.
Yep. Well, same thing with over at Walt Disney World when I went, the whole Avatar ride where you ride on the back of one of their dragons. That whole ride, dude, the line alone was like worth that experience because you're going through the different locations of like on what was the planet called? Pandora. And then you actually see one of the clones inside of the chamber of the Na'vi, and it's just floating there, and it's like detail.
Clones, freaking awesome. Or I think you mean
avatars.
Thank you.
Avatars.
Jesus Christ.
And then they go and do the bestiality with everything, just like shove their thing inside of the animals thing and dude, I felt bad for that dragon when
it's a beard, man. It's a braid.
Nah, man. When they connected with the dragon and you see his eye, you're like, oh God. It's like, oh, dude, I'm sorry.
So my wife said, what about the Leica experience at con was actually really cool too. Like you walked in and you could actually see like different actual set pieces from the movies. Like, Jesus, my mind went break. Coraline. At the time Kubo and the Two Strings hadn't come out yet, and they had set up there, and they had all the faces that they used for the movie. Cool. What was the movie? The Abominable Snowman or whatever the heck he was. Hugh Jackman was one of the voice actors in it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but I know which one you're talking about.
But yeah, all those movies are done by Leica Studios, and they had everything there that you could look at. It was really cool.
Well, with
Uh,
these guys, when it comes to Stranger Things, every time they've done one of those experiences, they're actually really good. I would say that it's worth the. I think I paid $40 a person, and it was me. But it was me, my daughter, and a friend of hers. And for the $40, you also got like a gift bag, and it had a really cool Bluetooth speaker that looked like a cassette tape, and it said mixtape, but it was in a cassette case. You open it up, and it's the size of it, and the speaker was actually pretty good. I think I still have it somewhere. But you got that. You got a meal because you had to sit and wait in the line. So they gave you food. They gave you dessert. So for $40, we got a lot for that experience. And
except for an experience.
no, the experience was good. It really was. So yeah. So I'm hoping if they do come out with another experience, I get a chance to go. Maybe as the Geek Saga, maybe we can con our way into something just the way I con my way into
Cons.
Yeah. And I get another industry badge.
But this one, they already started shooting. They're already in Atlanta. They started their table reads and all that stuff like that. So who knows, man? You could be seeing this early spring.
Yeah, that's what it's saying is early spring, and we'll just see what happens. I mean, God, I really hope.
The wife and the kids to the rescue.
It was Missing Link.
Missing Link, Kubo, Box Trolls, Paranorman.
Like I didn't like movies. I didn't like Paranorman, but it still looked cool. But nah, it wasn't all that great. But anyways, moving on from this, I think that'll be it for. Is it our last one? Yes, it is. So.
Cut you off, Holmes.
That's jacked up. That hurts. But oh man, Ghost. I had to drink Ghost on the way down too to be able to stay awake the ride down. So I'm all jacked up.
So I missed it last week, but I know you were talking about that comic book that you got, Kanto, right?
Kanto, yeah.
How was it?
Right here. It's actually I haven't gotten to the second one. Got through the first one, and it's really good, dude. It's a really good story. Yeah, the only reason why I haven't gotten to the second one was because I went up to work and I didn't want to take it with me and get it all messed up. But the artwork in these things too, along with the story, the actual writing of it, which I met the writer, David Boer, and his interviews are going to be going up this week.
Let me see some of that artwork, man. Put it up to the screen. Your focus needs more focus.
Well, I can't.
That's pretty good. All right.
And
I hate when the covers look. I hate when the covers look amazing, and then you go inside the book and it's like 12-year-olds drew it.
Oh no, dude! Like this is a cover for one of the issues. Okay, and then the artwork inside. I mean, it gives you like vast, world.
I like
the artwork is, yeah, it's really good. But on top of that, like I said, the story of it is really good. If you guys don't know about Kanto, go to your local comic book stores. The volumes are out right now, and I think it's like 1 through 5. They're moving over to Dark Horse Comics from IDW, and David Boer also writes the Saturday morning Dungeons and Dragons cartoon comic book in that style of stories and stuff. And that's another really good one. I haven't had a chance to get my hands on some of those comic books, but I will start reading those also. But I'm gonna definitely finish up Kanto. It's he's a little tin man or a little knight with a watch heart, and he's out to go try to save the girl that he loves and getting her real heart. And so it's a really good story. I gotta finish that and then get all the other books. So,
Huh.
yeah. So yeah, that's all you really missed last week. Um, I'm almost done with the aeronaut class or LAS. The book that the
Aeronauts
other
winless.
Winless. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm missing.
The
Aeronauts
aeronauts winless.
winless.
Winless. It's an actual device.
Ah, well, it's a good book, and I'm almost done with it. So
Good.
there we go.
One day you'll learn how to read yourself.
I don't want to. It takes too long. It's easier just to let somebody else read to me.
Fired.
But it is a great book, and yeah. So I'm going to be trying to make a trip out to Extraordinary Arcades over here in San Bernardino this weekend to go check that out. So if Will is watching, I will be swinging by. If not, I'll definitely message him and let him know. Did we talk about, well, before we leave, Project Wish Upon a Star?
We did mention them this morning.
Okay, cool.
Or as soon as we got on Project Wish Upon a Star. But if you see us at any events, look for us. Buy these mystery bags from us. All the proceeds from those go straight back to Project Wish Upon a Star. They make the bags themselves. They fill them with all the mystery bag stuff. That all comes out of their pocket. But yeah, anything you guys want to donate to that will go straight back to them. So more heroes can get the experience that the others have.
They're great people. They just had an event this past weekend over at TGI Fridays to raise money, and it was. I got to ask. I haven't had a chance to reach out to Darren to see how well it was, but they also had Doc from the Amazon TV show. I forgot the name of it, some sort of race show, but he drives a DeLorean that's set up just like the DeLorean from Back to the Future. So it was a really cool event from what I could see. I wish we could have made it out there, but we both were indisposed at the time. I was working. You were.
No, we were both at drill.
Oh, that's right. We were both at drill. So we had our drill this week.
It was Saturday.
Yeah, it was horrible.
So
what a waste of time.
We're gonna have to build a show when you finally finish all of the books. We're gonna have to do a whole episode of Jim Butcher recap, because I'm gonna plug it now. If you guys are into reading, if you like sci-fi, you like fantasy, you guys like detective comics, you guys like nose to the grindstone, fast-paced action, read Jim Butcher. Everything he does it's written for the simplest dude to understand, but also the most experienced reader to enjoy at the same time. That's how I pitched it to Eugene. He read it, and you went through 18 books now.
18 books
to include that's including the Aeronauts Winless that you're damn near done with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 17 of the Dresden Files, 1 of the Aeronauts Winless. There's 6 of the Codex Alera. But if you guys love reading and you want something cool, read Jim Butcher.
And his son, James Butcher, actually put out some books too, which I just found those on. I could listen to them on Spotify, but he's got, I think, 2 books which are kind of in the same realm of what his dad writes. So you might enjoy that. I haven't got a chance to listen to them. I think I'm gonna do the Aeronauts and finish that, and then I'm gonna probably do one of his son's books, and then get back to the Codex Alera because I'm not done with that one either. I think I'm
go straight into the Codex Alera. Don't be dumb.
I started it, but it's a little for me. It's a little slow.
It's because you're having someone read it to you, man.
I don't mind the person that's reading. I could block them out in their voice, and I can start picturing what's going on. But I just, it's a little hard to catch on to the Furies. Like I was saying today, which when you explained it more, it's like, okay, that makes sense. That's what a Fury is. All right, now I could
Right.
see
So
how
the first one
it works.
is the Furies
It's the
of
Fury.
Calderon, right?
Yeah. So
Yes.
you're jumping into a world, and it's like the Furies are not even explained when at the beginning of the book.
But then again, you jump into the Dresden Files, and he doesn't explain shit. It's just like, hey, what's up? I'm Harry, and I'm about to go into this detective world that I also do sci-fi shit. So tag along.
And
And he takes
that's
you to Imagination Town on a train, just like Mr. Rogers.
but with that, it's really easy to get into and just follow and just keep going. The Codex Alera is a little bit. It's you have to think a little bit more with that book, I think, because again, you're being dropped into the Furies and how they work and what they are, and you're not even told what they really are. And as far as I've gotten into the book, they really haven't explained them. But once you've explained
How
them, I'm like, okay.
far did you get into the book?
Chapter, I think it was chapter 8 or 9.
I think you've got all the. I think you've gotten most of the explanation of what they are.
I know that's right when they're starting to you're starting to learn more about the Furies from what's that one? The kid that was in the woods because he was trying to lead off the creatures
Tavi?
that were, huh? Yeah,
Tavi?
Tavi.
He's the main character, by the way.
Yeah, so you're starting to learn more about how they kind of work, and also by that one chick that
Oh, the
the
troll.
what's
The
her
aunt?
name? Huh?
His aunt?
No, not his aunt. The younger girl.
The one that's like his friend, right? She's like a
Yeah,
troll or something like that.
something. But yeah,
Yeah.
her. So
Anyways, if you guys like reading, check out Jim Butcher. Really cool. And then once again, before we cut out for the night, look for us on IG, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, The Geek Saga. Find us at email, thegeeksaga20@gmail.com. Like I said earlier, shoot us a link. Send us something you would like us to build a story around. If you want to hear about something, if you just want to hear two guys go back and forth about stupid crap, shoot some links for that too, and we'll banter back and forth on anything.
I want to make an announcement because it was made official today. And since it's our first, it's like, I would say he's going to be our biggest guest so far. But we have Brian Volkweiss that will be on our show. We're going to do a whole special thing for him. He will be giving us an interview on January 8th. I know it sounds like it's far away because it's January, but it's really only we're 3 episodes away from that. Yeah, we're a couple of weeks out, but we want to announce here that he will be coming on. If you don't know who Brian Volkweiss is, my favorite show that he's been an executive producer on is The Toys That Made Us, and he's also done The Movies That Made Us, which are all on Netflix. He's got a huge list of all the like comedians that he's been a producer of their live, the live recordings and all that. So he's got a huge list of that, but he's also part of Nikela, which is a toy company, which was at LA Comic-Con. We didn't get into the press. We didn't go to the press. What do you call it? What were they? The press meeting. What Phil was all excited about. The press release. The panel that they had, and he was there. And Phil was like, "Oh my God, I talked to him." Huh?
The panel, right?
Yeah, the panel.
Was it a panel?
He was excited. Yeah, it was a panel, which he was excited about, that he got to talk to him and stuff, and he reached out to them, and they will be having their interview sometime in February. We somehow got jumped ahead to the front of the line to be able to get a chance to talk to Brian. So I used the veteran card, and it worked.
Got to, man. Got to.
Yeah.
Got to plug it where we can. We got to get what we can out of it because they ain't got shit else.
Yeah, exactly. And he's been liking a lot of our posts. So we're really excited that we're going to have him come on the show. We're going to talk about all his projects that he works on. We're going to talk about, the toys that made us. We're going to talk to him about whatever we can in the time that we've got, which, he gave us about 30 minutes, which we'll try to get in as much as we can. But check out the new Biker Mice from Mars toys that are going to be coming out by Nikela. They look pretty sweet. All their toys.
And if you guys have questions that you want us to ask or things that you would like us to touch on while we're doing the interview, like send them to us at the Gmail. That's probably the best way to do it. Type it out, send it to us on Gmail. We can print them out. DM us on Instagram. We'll read it. We'll write them down. We'll make them part of our questions that we ask him. But any of our guests that are coming on, if you guys want to know a certain thing, or you guys are huge fans of them and you just want to say hello, send us an email, send us a DM, or jump in on the chat while we're interviewing, say hi, drop a line, and then you can get that special little, hey, how you doing, from that person.
Yeah, so remember, it's going to be, when we'll start promoting it, but it'll be January 8th. It's a Monday, so it's totally special day that we're doing it. The only other person we've done a special day so far has been for Randy Sackett of Forge Realms. And this is going to be at 5 o'clock, so it's also earlier than our normal show. So I'm kind of excited to be able to just have him on, period. And, he's totally cool with us doing the live stream. So that's what we're going to do. And start looking out for my next shirt that I'm going to be getting from what do you call it? Roosevelt's. I ordered a Yellowstone shirt, so I'm really excited to get that. So I love that show. Nice. But anyways, all right, let's cut this out.
Yeah, man. As always, friggin' hit us up on everything. Join us next week. We'll be back 7:30, and we'll be here every week 7:30 until we have the special interview. And just remember, next week the saga continues.